misdemeanor site.
10-4-12. Welcome to Law and Order BUX. I'm your host, Bucks County Sheriff Fred Herron. Every corner of Bucks County has a story to tell. Sometimes a story of resilience. Sometimes a story that chills us to the bone. Sometimes a story of government not being able to get out of its own way. Here, the forces of law and order are constantly at work, often behind the scenes. Join us as we delve into the gripping realities of crime and justice in our community. We'll explore the hidden worlds, the difficult decisions, and the unwavering commitment it takes to maintain law and order right here in Bucks County. Hi, and welcome to Law and Order BUX, BUX, episode 21. I'm your Sheriff Fred Herron, the host of the show. So last week we didn't have a show. We should have episode 21, but we stopped for a week. Last Thursday I could not record because of Yom Kippur, and for as long as I can remember, I have not worked on Yom Kippur. So there was no Law and Order show last week. There's always Law and Order, but no show. This week we're going to try. I started it a couple weeks ago. We did a couple of questions, and we just kept getting more questions. So I felt it was not going to be fair that people are sending us some questions in and we're not answering them. So I want to take some time, and then next week we'll get back. We'll bring another guest on, but I wanted to take time today for our half-hour time that we have and try to go through some of these questions. We've got about a little over a dozen that we picked out that I thought were really good. Not that all of them aren't good, but some of them are very quick. Some of them we've kind of already talked about. So I wanted to give those a chance to ask some questions. So here we go. Mark. From Mark, he said, hey, Sheriff, thanks for doing the show. Mark, thanks for listening, I guess I should say, because I wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have listeners. So no problem. Thanks for doing this. A lot of us get confused. We have local cops here. He mentions the town. I'll just say the lower end of the county. And then there's the sheriff's office. Can you just lay out to the average person what deputies are actually doing day to day, and why is that different from a police officer on the street? Mark, that's a great question. And we kind of talked about that in the early episodes, but maybe it's been months, I guess, since we've been doing this. So it's a good time to bring it back up again. So Pennsylvania is a commonwealth, and there are 4 commonwealths in the United States: Massachusetts, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and nobody ever gets the last one, it's Kentucky. And basically what the difference is, so in a commonwealth, the authority goes to the lowest form of government. That means each borough, each town kind of does their own thing. So everybody has their own police department. So when you call, and in Bucks County, there's 39 police departments, and then there's the Pennsylvania State Police that respond to, towns that might not, like East Rock Hill, places that don't have their own police department. Either they're merged with another town, or they might have the state police come out. So those are what happens in some parts of the county. But for us in the sheriff's office, we don't respond to 911 calls. We will respond if local police have asked for our assistance, and we've done that from time to time. That's nothing new. But when you call 911 here in Bucks County, you will get the local police department, and you could be calling from wherever. Caller ID will come up, but with cell phones, that's not always where you are. So they'll ask you where you are or where you're calling from, and that call will be routed to that municipality. Any dispatcher of the 911 center will be able to send a call to that one, what we call zone, that police department's dispatcher, so to speak. They're county employees, but they're assigned to different police departments. In Ivy Land is where the 911 center is. So that's really how it works. And then that police officer will come out and they'll handle your problem depending on what it is. So what do the sheriffs do? Well, we'll assist police, but really some of our biggest responsibilities, the day-to-day, is security of this building, the CJC, the Criminal Justice Center, the movement of prisoners within the building, the making sure that the judges and the victims and the witnesses and the defendants and the lawyers and the cops and everybody's safe in the building, and the workers that are here. Also, we move all the prisoners within the county. We serve warrants within the county. That's one of our biggest functions. And I've said all along, when I started off, we had 7,800 warrants. We're now, this week the count was, I think, 4,500 and change of active warrants. And obviously, we always get warrants in, but we're always out serving warrants. So, will we ever get to zero? I doubt it. But I don't know if we'll get lower than 2,000. But I'm surely going to try to get down to those numbers in the next couple of years. That's my goal in the next couple of years, to get that number as low as we possibly can. We pick prisoners up from all over the country. So if you were arrested in Bucks County and you never showed up for court, or there was a warrant issued for your arrest, and you're in California on vacation, you go through a red light and that officer in LA stops you and they run your driver's license and it comes back wanted out of Bucks County, they will take you into custody. We have to fly to California, pick you up, and bring you back to jail here, and then you'll go before a local judge for determination of what will happen regarding that warrant or your case. We do a lot of other things that aren't, favorites of mine. You don't pay your MasterCard bill, we're the ones that deal with it. Your mortgage gets foreclosed, we're the ones that deal with it. Judge orders guns taken away because you have a PFA order against you, we're the ones to deal with it. We serve the PFA orders. We deal with, custody warrants. You're not paying your child support, you have problems with domestic court, we're the ones to deal with it. We have deputies assigned to the county SWAT team. We have deputies assigned to the county MERT team, major incident response team. We have deputies trained with civil unrest, with picketing, things of that nature. We have K9, just a school resource officer. Not right now because the one from Central Bucks was replaced, but we're still, anybody that wants one, I'm willing to take that on and give you a school resource officer. So I think that's very important in 2025 to make sure there's an SRO in any school that wants one. We work with Bucks County Drug and Alcohol. We have an assessment center right here on our floor with a trained assessor. So if someone is in crisis and someone needs help with getting into rehab, we work right here in the Criminal Justice Center to get that done. We have people assigned to the Veterans Response Team, which started in the Sheriff's Office. We actually we stole that from Montgomery County. Thank you, Sheriff Kilkenny, friend of mine. So we took that program, and I'm sure he got it from somewhere else, his men and women. But that's a great project that you respond out to veterans that have issues and are calling 911 or have mental health issues. So it's veterans in law enforcement talking to veterans, civilian veterans. So I think that is key. There's nothing we shouldn't do to help our vets in this country. For me, they're priority one. It's because of them that I get to do a podcast, literally. So I think that's extremely, extremely important. So we're doing a lot of things here. So we do a lot of different things, and that's great because it brings a little different work for folks, and they want to do different things. They want to be active. They want to be challenged. They want to use their minds, and they want to help the community. I looked at some of these questions. I got to be honest. I peeked ahead of time, so I'm going to stop there because some questions ask more specifically about specific programs. So we'll go into them a little later. So, Mark from the lower end of Bucks County. I hope that answers that question. Kevin, all right. Oh, Kevin, this is a great one. I love it because I've been talking about this all over the place. Kevin, this is Kevin. I'm constantly telling my mom not to click on strange text messages, but scammers are getting convincing. What's the latest trick and the biggest scam we should be warning our parents and grandparents about right now? Kevin, come on over here because I want to talk about that every day, all day, everywhere in the county to the 600,000 plus residents we have in this county. Whew. A lot of scamming going on right now. One of the biggest ones that we see directly affecting the sheriff's office is there are very well coordinated scammers that pose as deputy sheriffs only on the phone, folks. We're not talking about coming to your door in uniform. That's not what we're talking about here. and they convince you that there's a warrant out for your arrest or you have outstanding court costs for, and you're like, I would never been to court. They're very clever. That you missed jury duty, that you were called in an expert. They've scammed doctors, psychiatrists, medical doctors. You were called as an expert witness and you failed to show, and the judge has issued a warrant for your arrest unless you pay this fine. People pay it, folks. We never, ever, ever call asking you for money. We don't use Bitcoin. We don't use gift cards. If you're wanted by the Bucks County Sheriff's Office, tune into Warrant Wednesday because you might be there. And we're going to talk about Warrant Wednesday in a little bit, but that's not how we come looking for you. We don't call you. We don't take payments over the phone, and we don't take payments in gift cards and Bitcoin. So, Kev, tell your mom that. Also, anything on your phone, if you don't recognize it, I don't care how good it looks from the IRS, from the U.S. Postal Service, from UPS, delete it. Don't open it. Don't play Inspector Clouseau. Delete it. Don't play around with it. Get it off your phone. Don't forward it. Many of these people are from outside the United States, outside our reach, outside of any government's reach. So please, get rid of it. Social media. I'd like to say get the heck off of it, but that's not realistic. Be careful what you put on there. That's all I got to tell you. Be careful with the information. Be careful with the personal information. Grandmas, grandpas, moms, and dads. With AI, scammers will call and they will make you think it's your child, that they got in trouble and they need money wired to a certain location. They will call you by your name. They'll get you in the middle of the night so you really can't think it through. And they will pretend that your loved one could only be on the phone for maybe like 15, 20 seconds. So you really don't get a chance to ask them questions. They're in custody somewhere or something. Suggest a couple things. One is don't make any payments. That it's just totally not true. When has that ever happened? Probably never, where you couldn't ask the person questions to confirm who they were. But come up with a safe word like we used to have back in the day. Remember our little children when somebody was going to come pick them up to school, every kid had a safe word. Come up with a safe word again. Making safe words great again. That's what we should be doing. Bringing safe words back. And if it is your child, the first thing they should do is say, apple pie, bananas, I don't know, whatever. You could, Grand Canyon, whatever it might be. Come up with some sort of safe word. Kevin, there are, we could probably do about 3-4 hour podcasts on scams. I think we hit scams once before, but I just covered some more. But maybe we're going to come back to that. Maybe we'll come back to scams. But those are some hot ones that we're seeing right now. So, Kevin, great question, and great that you're looking out for your grandparents and your parents. So I think that's very, very important. Oh, here we got a Warrant Wednesday question. Chris, okay, I admit it. I always look at Warrant Wednesday, the list that we post. Does that thing actually work? I mean, do you get a flood of tips every time you post a new face? Give us a good story about one that you've caught, or just someone seeing a post online. Oh, all right, I guess I should have read the whole question beforehand. Yes, it works. So we partner with an app called Crime Watch. Phenomenal tool. I don't know if I was the first in Ben Salem to bring Crime Watch into Bucks County. I'm going to say I was. I'm going to say Ben Salem was the first one. So now almost every department has it. The DA's office has it. The sheriff's office has it. So we list our wanted people on Crime Watch. And Chris, I can't actually give you a story off the top of my head, but it works because as you hear on Warrant Wednesday, actually this Wednesday, this one I just did yesterday, I don't think we had any Crime Watch tips on that one. But many, I think every other one I've done since I've been doing Warrant Wednesday, we've had Crime Watch tips. People call in, they text us rather on the Crime Watch, they send us messages, and we follow up on it. I mean, we found a guy, we were given a tip, a guy hiding in remember a couple of Warrant Wednesdays ago, a guy hiding in a tunnel, so to speak, a room underneath his shed that he dug out. And that was all a tip led us to that shed. and then eventually led us to this wanted person. So this works. That's our best source of information is you, the public. Always has, always will be. I don't care how big the technology is and how advanced it is, unless we're putting chips into people and they commit a crime, we can locate them via satellite chip. Warren Wednesday and Crime Watch not Warren Wednesday. Crime Watch is going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal tool. So yeah, bud, it works. And spread the word and get those tips coming in. We need the eyes and ears of the community out there on us to make sure that we get wanted people off the street. People commit a crime. They decide they might not be the world's biggest desperado, but think about it. If someone commits a property crime, who's paying for that loss? Not the criminal. You're paying for it, either literally out of pocket, or you're paying for it in insurance costs or insurance premiums, and your neighbors are paying for it because their insurance is based on things that might happen at your residency. And if there's criminal activity there, it's going to drive insurance up. It's going to drive your out-of-pocket expenses up. So this helps everybody. So, Chris, I hope I answered that question. Amanda, when you look at the future of the county, or I said country, county, what's the problem on the horizon that keeps you up at night? The thing that we, the public, might not even be thinking about yet. Drugs has been and will continue to be a problem. I don't know if we'll ever get a real handle on it. If we could stay on top of it or maybe decrease it a little bit, that's a win. The problem is that the bad guys and gals figure out new ways of dealing drugs, feel new ways of getting drugs in, and new drugs. Cocaine is making a huge comeback now. Obviously we see xylazine is still very popular now. Opioids and heroin is still popular too, but we're seeing cocaine coming back now. The marijuana today is not the marijuana of 1970, 1980. It's a different grade of marijuana, a lot more potent. And drugs, because drugs has such a domino effect on society. It affects everybody. Doesn't matter if you're wealthy or not, educated or not, whether you're inner city or you live in the suburbs, drugs affects every single person and families. And if you're lucky enough not to have your family involved with it directly, you're paying for it in other ways. The price of things, because again, we just talked about that. Crime, 80% of our crime in Bucks County and probably the nation is drug related, meaning people steal to support their drug habit. Breaks families apart. Technology, so drugs is got to be up there. Things that really worry me. The technology for our kids. Kids that are being sextorted, kids that are being bullied to the point of committing suicide, kids that are being perpetrated by predators online. People trying to have relations with little children, with 10-year-olds, 11, 12-year-olds. These are the things that technology is far surpassing the mental capability of a 11, 12-year-old. And they're becoming more technically savvy. That doesn't mean they're being more savvy. They're just being more technically savvy. So could they operate an iPhone, what's out there now, 17 plus, better than I? Most likely. Could they be scammed better than I? Most likely. Can they be sexually harassed and bullied and all that better than I? Most likely. So these are the problems that we're facing. The future, what it will bring, I don't know. A lot of these companies hide behind the First Amendment. That's not what it was designed for. At least I'm not a Supreme Court justice, but I'm not sure that's what it was designed for. Maybe our founding fathers were a lot smarter than we even give them credit for. Maybe they did conceive of this. I don't think they conceived when they wrote the Fourth Amendment. That's search and seizure. I don't think they conceived of indoor plumbing when they wrote that drugs can be destroyed in somebody's house so quickly. But it is what it is. So these are the things that technology not keeping up, surpassing the times, and kids can't keep up with it. Also, I think we're doing our youth a big injustice with social media. They hide behind it. You don't have to, kids can't deal with conflict, can't deal with problems, can't deal, with real life situations because everything they do is on a phone or a text or a Snapchat or a TikTok and all this other nonsense. Those are the things that bother me, keeping me up at night. I got that just comes with age, I guess. Just staying up at night. But you worry about everybody's safety. The other thing is I got to be honest with you. I started off this podcast today telling you last Thursday we took off because of Yom Kippur. This was the first time I took my gun to temple. This was the first time I carried a weapon inside my synagogue. I don't know if the rabbi knew or didn't know. I'm sure he was probably pleased that I was armed. But this is the life we live. That keeps me up at night. You never know the person you're going to tick off, where that's going to lead, because people are so quick to violence. I mean, I'm not talking about when I was a kid in high school, you get into a fight, you punch somebody, and it was over. You were friends the next day. Now they sit up on a roof with a long weapon to kill you. I don't care who you are. Whether you like the guy or not, no one deserves to die for speaking their piece or disagreeing with you. Me alone, I can't tell you the comments I have gotten over recent years because someone disagreed with me. Cut me a break. I'm allowed to disagree with you. You're allowed to disagree with me. It's okay. I don't mind. I get it every other Wednesday. I get people, let that sink in for a while. I get people disagreeing with me. Or I should say the first and third Wednesday of the month. Maybe that's a little bit more accurate. But I had to carry a gun into temple this year. And, now being a cop for 39 years, it's probably an issue that most police officers have when I go into any building. I'm constantly scanning a movie theater, restaurant, which are the ways to exit. What do I do? What would be to get my family out? I'm sorry, but my family, I'm going to protect them. How can I direct my family out and then fight the fight in the building? Because I guess I should have carried a gun all along, but I'm not now I do carry, but this time in temple, I never thought I had to do that. But as soon as I got into my seat in temple, I immediately looked at all the exit doors and any way for someone to get in, and how would I get out? How would I get people out? Would I have a clear shot? Depending on this is the stuff you think about. So, Amanda, what keeps me up? That's what keeps me up. So, folks, we got to dial it back. I've said this before on some of the podcasts, but that's what keeps me up. All right, Amanda. We'll do a couple more. I know we're running almost on our time here. Linda, issues we sometimes worry about in upper BUX feel different from what you hear about down in lower BUX. What does your office strategy change when dealing with more rural parts of the county versus the more densely populated areas in lower BUX? Well, let me speak from just a law enforcement perspective, not necessarily from the sheriff's office, because as a couple questions ago, we talked about our duties here, but traffic, number one, especially when you get in the upper part, and as sheriff now, I get to travel all over the place. I've said this before. I can make New York City. I could be eating a hot dog at Nathan's in Brooklyn before I can go from Bristol Borough to Quakertown or north of Quakertown. So traffic conditions, and I mean that like just if officers are out on car stops up in the upper part of Bucks County, their backup might be further away. It's darker on those roads. There's more chances of them getting hit by another car. So these things also in the lower end, you just have for us here in Bucks County, and especially when I was in Ben Salem, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a game changer for us. It's a city that's got issues, and the fact is that criminals don't know where the line is, and they come over and they think they're in Philadelphia. They think they can get away with crime until they find out, Toto, you're not in Kansas anymore. You've crossed over into Bucks County. You commit a crime here, you're going to jail. We have a strong district attorney. Jen Shorn, you're going to go to jail if you commit a crime here. We've got great judges, all of them. Doesn't matter R or D. I think our whole bench is fantastic here in Bucks County. I mean, I think they are good jurists. They're fair. They're good judges here in Bucks. I think that's a big difference. The population and the fact in the lower end of the county or the southern end of the county, you've got Philadelphia, and you've got people that really have no respect for the judicial system, and they think they come across here and they think they're still in Philly, especially you get towns like Ben Salem and Lower South and Bristol Township and those areas along the Philadelphia line. Um, that's a problem. That's a big problem. Philadelphia needs to start holding criminals accountable, and they don't. And that's the problems Philadelphia brings to us. Now, my brothers and sisters in blue do an amazing job in Philadelphia. The police department there, I think Mayor Parker's been doing a pretty good job. I mean, I think Philly might have a chance to get a hold on stuff. Of course, the district attorney's office is a whole nother issue in Philadelphia. But maybe that's not a topic for today. So that's some of the problems, and just the sheer density of the lower end. Figure, the population in Ben Salem, Bristol, Falls, Middletown, Warminster. That's where our heavy population is. That makes up a very condensed area. So that changes things as a way you do stuff in the upper end of the county. But as far as like drugs and things, they're everywhere. It's just the sheer numbers. You got more people, you got more problems. That doesn't mean the problems don't exist in the upper end. They do. They're just not as much because there's not as many people. So, Linda, we got you. Maria. Sheriff, beyond just security in schools, what does your office do to connect with kids in a positive way? I love this. I sometimes worry about the relationships with young people. And law enforcement. Are there specific programs or events you try to run and build trust with the next generation before they get into trouble? Maria, I love that question. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about them. So in 1994, we started a police athletic league in Ben Salem. It was like 60 kids. When I left in the end of 21, the beginning of 22, there were 1,280 kids in the PAL program. When I came here, I wanted to do that. We just started a couple of months ago, a police athletic league county-wide through the sheriff's office, from Bristol Borough to Quakertown and beyond. We've got 30 kids in the program right now. We just opened up. We just started a nonprofit. We have a 501c3, so we have our own tax exempt number now. We just actually got the paperwork from the IRS the other day in the mail. Very excited. And I want to expand that in the next couple of years from 30 kids to 3,000 kids countywide. I've got other police departments now that have shown interest to partner with us. So I think PALs are instrumental for breaking down those barriers and giving kids positive alternative activities. Fantastic. So let's do that. Let's keep building. We're trying to do some other projects here. I've got something in the works. I might be getting close with the county commissioners. You know me, I got to give credit when credit's due. I think Commissioner Marsegli and I are getting very close on agreement for behind closed doors. That is a mobile teen bedroom, not for kids, for parents. It'll give them 100 items to look for of your child could be dabbling in trouble with, engaged with drugs and alcohol, sextortion, trafficking, teen violence, mental health. So these are things we did in Ben Salem. Was huge. It was successful. So we're trying to get one here. It will be free countywide for any school, any community to use. And I think we're going to partner with Bucks County Drug and Alcohol. So we're going to have law enforcement and a professional counselor or somebody that had gone through is now, I hate the word clean. It's as if they were dirty. When they were never dirty, they had a problem. They were ill. So I don't like the word clean. So I don't like it. But the other word just escapes me. Somebody who's in recovery. There we go. Somebody who's in recovery. So I'm hoping this is coming. I'm hoping this is coming to life. I think I can get I think the commissioners I can work together. I would have loved to, just work with them. I'm hoping the next 4 years, once once this nuttiness of election season is over, we can get back and start doing some good work for the people of Bucks County, because you deserve it, and you pay our salary, so we should be doing that. That's what we should be doing for you. So, kids, those are some of the things. Like I said, I'm actually giving a talk tonight on school resource officers and school issues and stuff in some community group. I forget, my schedule is hot tonight. I just I don't remember which group. I'll have to look at my calendar before I get there. So that's some of the stuff we're doing, Maria. Let's finish up one more. Let's take one more from D. Oh, I love this. Let's pretend for a minute that money wasn't an issue. Wouldn't that be nice, D, huh? If you were given a grant tomorrow for one major new thing, whether it's new technology, a community program, or more personnel, what would be your number one priority? What's the one thing you believe would make the biggest immediate impact on safety in BUX? D, I don't know how I'm going to answer this. I'm going to give you an answer, but I'm going to have to cheat and just not give you one. I can't just do one. I don't know. I think two things. How about if I do two, D? And I might sneak a third one in, so don't get mad. Getting wanted people off the street is got to be a priority. Everything else we do is great and important, but the security of the building and warrants are priority. Every time we can get somebody off the street from committing a crime, that's one less victim in Bucks County. It's that simple. This is not algebra or trigonometry. I had to think for a minute. This is simple math. One off the street equals safety. That's simple. So I would really want to expand my warrant teams. I mean, if I could put another 2 or 3 out there, invest in technology for tracking people down, AI, using we're well, some people know this. We are beta testing. Is that still a phrase? Beta testing a software right now. It reaches out to open source social media and AI, I think. I don't know if that's the term. Again, I told you I'm not a techie. To track people down for us by searching every possible digital print they might have. Let's leave it at that. So if this works, I'm going to push to procure this for the county. It's going to save hundreds of human hours. And it'd be good for every police department, the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, anybody who needs it, law enforcement wise. So technology and warrants manpower for that. But I got to throw in, I'll end this question on this note. You can't forget the community reach out. It's got to be an all-in-one. One does not work with the other, because you can't be locking up bad guys. I've said it publicly a million times. You can't arrest our way out of this problem. You've got to be able to get people on the right track, the right path, the right help. People need help. We don't have enough help for mental health in this country. We are failing at an incredible rate. Somebody that's suffering from mental health immediately, they need to be treated as if their arm is severed and they're bleeding out if they don't get help. Is that theatrical? Dramatic? No, I think it's real. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean it's not deadly. So I would invest in that as well. D, I know I couldn't do it to one. I could not do it to one. I had to throw. I think 3 is okay. I didn't get crazy with 30 or 15 or even 8 for that matter. I gave you 3. So hopefully you're okay with that, D. A lot of stuff going on in the county. A lot of stuff going on. I'm hoping I'm hoping another week or two I could talk about another issue that I would love to talk about, but I can't talk about it right now on the podcast. But I'm hoping soon we can talk about it openly. And I got to get this show on the road, man. I keep talking about it. We're doing questions coming in, but I want to go out to a location. I think that would be cool. A restaurant at lunchtime, a diner at lunchtime, a coffee shop, maybe the Starbucks right here in town. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll start with Starbucks in Doylestown and do the podcast. And obviously I had questions. There was nothing bad. I didn't skip one. I just felt some of them were answered already. Some of them were repetitive, so I could incorporate an answer. Daniel writes about technology. I think I kind of touched on that a little bit. So, but out and about, whatever you want to ask me, and maybe we will announce that the week before. So obviously it wouldn't be next week. I'll announce date and time, so I'm locking myself in. Listen, the one thing, people can say a lot of things about Fred Herron. The one thing you know what you got with me. I don't do something, or I don't say something and then do something else. I say it, I'm doing it. The other day, I was at a meeting with a group of people on Friday. They said, well, this has to be done. This has to be done. Monday morning, it was done. The woman said to me, who does this? Nobody does this in government. We talked about it on Friday, and Monday it's done. If I'm telling you I'm doing something, I'm doing it. There's nobody more transparent than me. Good or bad or indifferent, there's nobody more transparent than me. So let's shoot for maybe next week or the week after, and then I'll announce where we're going to be, and maybe we'll get a crowd. Maybe I'll have to pick up the tab for the coffee to get people to come out. See, there's my New York accent came out, the word coffee. All right. Until next time, Law and Order, BUX, episode 22 coming up. Man, be good to one another. Have discussions. Don't yell. Don't do craziness. Love each other, will you? Thank you for joining us as we explore another aspect of law enforcement in Bucks County. To stay up to date on future episodes and gain further insight into the work we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about the Bucks County Sheriff's Office and the services we provide, please visit our website and be sure to download the official Bucks County Sheriff's Office app, available on Google Play and in the App Store. Join us next time for another in-depth look at law and order right here in Bucks County.